Joey Bosa, who has been elite over the course of his career. The problem is he's run into injuries, and they came up a lot, and they have really derailed the beginning of his prime as he's really starting to get into big years for the Chargers, as he's proven himself as a good player. The question is he worth the money he's getting paid, as he is consistently on and off the field with injuries that continue to plague him over and over again. Danielle Hunter, who has been a consistent pass rusher over his career, he's getting older, so he may take a step back. I could see it happening, but he's good, and he is consistent, but he is starting to run into injury problems. So like I said, I could see him taking a step back as he does get older and he does continue to reach the end of what his prime is likely to be. At number 9, I have a guy like Mr. Coming in at number 8, I have the Carolina Panthers, Brian Burns, who is really a young, up-and-coming pass rusher who is just only going to improve over the next few years, as he has not even hit his prime yet, but he gets to the quarterback at an elite level. He stops the run as well. He is by far the best defensive player for the Carolina Panthers. They don't have that much on the defensive side of the ball, but they do have Brian Burns, who is consistent, he is good, and he really is he's going to keep getting better. I don't see a path for him to get worse or staying the same, because defensive ends, when they start in the league, they start off the worst that they'll ever play. That's the worst football they'll ever play, is their first season, because they have to adapt from going up against college offensive tackles, and then now what they have to do is they have to go right into facing against NFL offensive tackles and offensive guards and offensive linemen. And I think as Brian Burns continues to adapt and build his skills, he will continue to make a very big impact for the Carolina Panthers. My number 7 is Maxx Crosby, who is still getting better after a breakout 2021 season where he made his presence known and really dominated in that season, putting up double-digit sacks. And he got better last season, being probably one of 2 bright spots on the Vegas Raiders team all of last season. Well, I would say 3, coming with guys on the offensive side of the ball with Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs, who both had really good seasons because they're elite players at their positions. But the thing is with Maxx Crosby is he is not known as well as some of these other guys. He isn't really as established. He hasn't really made his name as a superstar because he hasn't really done it at a high level. He hasn't played for a very good Raiders team because they haven't really had a good roster while he has been there. They've had a mediocre roster the entire time he's been in the NFL. He's either played for a mediocre team or worse, including, which is basically last year, when they had a major step down with quarterback Derek Carr. So, look for him to make a real name for himself once the Raiders eventually are able to complete the rebuild, as long as he is still a member of the Raiders by that point. Matt Judon is my number 6. Just to look at the progression over his career he has made. Over the course of his career, he was known for being somebody who hit hard, who really made impact in the run game, really was a big player for that Ravens defense, as he was kind of overshadowed by some of the other players, including some of the players in their secondary, some of the guys in their defensive line along with him, guys like Calais Campbell back in that time. But now that he's on the Patriots, he got a big deal with them. He has really turned it up. He has really turned into an elite player. Last year he put up 15.5 sacks, and the Patriots' defense is going to be good for another year as they continue to be really hard to stop, as every time they seemingly face a young quarterback, they at least make it a challenge. Most of the time, there's exceptions, but overall, he's worth the number 6 spot. My number 5 is Haason Reddick, who was a big player for the Eagles last year, putting up a career high in sacks. He really made the best of the contract he got from the Eagles last year after breaking out for the Cardinals in 2021. Similar to a guy we've talked to about already, and a guy like Max Crosby, but he really has made his way up to this part of the list because he plays on the Eagles, which is very hard to get snaps on. If you guys don't know, they had 5 players that had over 10 sacks last season, and they achieved 70 as a team, which is ridiculous. Number 1 in the league by far, because their defense is the best at getting home, and their secondary is good as well, because what do? They prevent you from getting separation if you're a wide receiver. So Haason Reddick is a very good player. He will continue to be that, just for that, for the Eagles. Next up, we got TJ Watt for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had a really bad year. Not because he didn't play well. Last season, he was not on the field very much at all. He got injured early in the season, and it turns out it was a season-ending injury, which is unfortunate, but this preseason he already has a sack in limited snaps, and I think he's going to be good again for the Steelers if he can stay healthy. TJ Watt is a heck of a player. 2 years ago, he led the NFL in sacks, tying the all-time NFL record. He might have actually broken it, I'm not sure on that, but TJ Watt is deserving of this spot, definitely. Next up, we have Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns, who barely edges out TJ Watt because his overall talent is better and he's healthy. Like, he's more talented as an athlete because he stops the run at a higher level, gets to the quarterback pretty much the same as TJ Watt, and stays healthy. Like, he hasn't missed an entire full season in his career like TJ Watt, who just came off of a season-ending injury. Lots of question marks surrounding TJ Watt, which is why I have Mr. Myles Garrett above him. Number 2, we have none other than Micah Parsons, who broke out his rookie season. He made an immediate impact for the Dallas Cowboys as he made headlines all over the place. He made a name for himself when he just was early in the year just forcing teams to double him, or else they would get manhandled no matter who he was facing on the defensive line. He continued to get sacks over and over that year. Last year, more of the same, as the only reason he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year is because there's a number 1 guy, and that's Nick Bosa for the 49ers, who is the best player on the best defense. 49ers have the best defense in the league because they have the best player on the defensive side of the ball in in a guy like Nick Bosa, who is just the best at pretty much everything. Maybe other than run stopping, he's very good in that department. Don't get me wrong, but he's probably not the best in that. There's probably people that are better in that. But he is so good at getting to the quarterback, so good at stopping the run. But I think he's definitely the best at stopping the pass rush. And this concludes my list. Let me know what you guys think. Is it accurate? Did I miss anybody? Did I overrank somebody? Did I underrank somebody? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. See you guys in the next one. Bye.